how'd you pick the puppy?
You know, I'm gonna let you in on the directional manipulation thing. Dave and I just picked the cutest possible puppy we could to rob the audience of that love later. So yeah, it was a bit manipulative, but Daisy was, you know, this little beagle that was probably the cutest thing with the big floppy ears. We just like, what would be the most heartbreaking animal on this planet to demise? Yeah. So we took innocence and beauty and love and everything you could imagine personified in this one creature.
And then we're gonna have some guy just stomp on it.
Yeah.
We met on The Matrix, working with the Wachowskis, and in terms of influences of The Matrix in John Wick, I think there's a lot. I mean, we both went to
Huge Wachowski film school.
Yeah.
I think the world building was something you can't help, like how to make action beautiful, how to expand worlds or create this reality from the smallest prop to the biggest set piece to lighting, to the fact that the action is the story is the action, it doesn't stop. How to continue through and develop your character through that. Like you get to know Neo by the way he fights, not just by the way he talks or stands or anything like that. It's a big part of his character. And I think that stayed with us. I mean, there's such influential filmmakers, and their attention to detail and the depth of which they go and the meaning behind everything, from the color of the set to the wardrobe to the way that the characters perform was, it was absolutely
I think you're
fun.
lensing and framing too, because the Wachowskis were very influenced by Japanese, Hong Kong cinema, Italian cinema. You know.
Oh yeah, the framing and composition, the way we jump out and let the camera tell a lot of the story. Their editing style, I think, is fairly symmetrical, the wide thing. They're not trying to rush anything, they're trying to just let you witness the story and experience it and suck you into the world rather than rush you through anything. Again, I think the influences are pretty massive. Like, you know.
But you have your own flavor now, too, sort of.
Wachowski light.
John Wick was a script that was originally written by a gentleman named Derek Kolstad, and it was attached with a producer named Basil Iwanek at Thunder Road Pictures. They sent me the script, I read it, I had some notes, they did a couple of drafts, we were looking for directors, and I spoke with Basil about meeting with Chad Stahelski and David Leitch, who were action directors and who I had worked with David and Chad on The Matrix. Basil had heard of them, maybe might have met you, and what did you do?
We met with Basil and we said, well, this is interesting. He said that Keanu Reeves was attached. We were like, oh, we know Keanu Reeves. We had met before. So they gave us a script to consider like doing the action directing on it. I think we chatted real quick and said, well, this is great, but for the money and time, we didn't know if we could deliver what they wanted kind of thing. But then we did talk to Keanu and say, well, we do have another idea. Said, this is, Dave and I were both looking to direct and we were looking for a script. And the original John Wick script had this little humanness to the assassin story. You know, you get this guy who loses his wife, but she dies of natural causes instead of being killed by the bad guy. The trigger to his action is the death of his puppy. And we thought, wow, in the way it was written, it was really simple, it was really clean, and it was really like, wow, it felt different, the script that we had gotten. So we went back to Keanu, literally, I think the next day, going, you know, don't want to insult you or anything like that, or don't want to mess up your career, but we were thinking like, maybe this would be a good one to direct. And he just went, yeah, cool. I mean, it was literally that simple. It's like, okay, well, give us the weekend. I think it was a Friday. And then like a Monday, we pitched to Keanu our idea of it. And he's like, cool. And then we went collectively and pitched to Basil, who went, cool. And then we started to develop it.
How much for the car?
She's not for sale.
Oh, I love dogs. Упси вы сука яцвайцена.
А вот и сука нету.
Right, so in terms of the John Wick world, it's, you know, started from the base of John Wick, you know, the world of the Continental and the world of assassins and the world that John Wick takes us back into, where we meet Winston, the manager of the Continental, and Lance Riddick is the concierge of the Continental. And then you meet some of the other characters around that world. So there's a lot there. And then once the reaction of to the first film, we had to then have the opportunity to build up, well, what's next?
I think in the first one it really helped that we wanted to do a little bit of a juxtaposition to your average action movie. So I think it was Keanu was like, look, I just lost my wife. I really want to play it very sad, very realistic. And then you can see the trigger when the assassins come and there's a little knock on the door and the police officer opens Jimmy. And that was our whole switch where the color palettes changed, the tone of the movie changed. But I don't think it would have worked as well if we at least didn't tease the audience with real world. How Keanu reacted to the puppy, how he did with his wife's funeral, and how somber that can make you. Seeing the toothbrush, the closet, and then
right. So it's not only John Wick world, then it's John Wick tone.
Yeah, it was the tone that really
the humor,
shifted us.
the reality, the hyper reality.
I think once we switched into hyper reality, sky was the limit. But I think you had to start from somewhere and really show the audience, like, we get it, but now we're going to lift the curtain and show you what can really happen.
Baba Yaga. It was just a fucking car, just a fucking dog. Just a dog.
I love live performances. Like, you love sitting and watching a stage. So, like, all the action was kind of choreographed that you can sit and watch. Again, everybody gives us the long takes, the limited editing stuff. I mean, we certainly don't. That's not like the overall goal. Our goal is immersion, and the more you see Keanu doing stuff, the more you buy into that John Wick is a badass because you're seeing Keanu Reeves be a badass. It just goes with the immersion into the character. And to do something like that just takes a lot of rehearsals with the extras. It takes a lot of training time so that Keanu and the stuntmen and the camera operator has to be, everybody's got to be in sync. If you want to do those kind of things, it just takes a lot of prep and a lot of rehearsals.
Yeah, because you did that kind of, I mean, people would say like it's kind of video game first-person shooter aspect, but that's only one thread of it. I mean, like you said, the immersion also comes in with like in that sequence. I think there's that handoff, right, where you see John Wick kind of go in, Chamber comes out, and then you start going. You see him with one person, then you hand off to another person comes off camera, and then you deal with them, and then there's another handoff.
You feel like the maze aspect of it going through. So you have this thread of motion path, and it goes, and it kind of puts you in the spot. It's not quite first-person shooter, but it does give you that perspective that you're with John. A lot of times in old gunfights, they'll be on the good guy, then they'll cut to the bad guy, then we'll go to the good guy, and then they'll go to the bad guy. We just wanted to see all the close quarter stuff happen in. So we're really only showing you what we want to show you. And now because of technology and VFX, so we can be safer with blanks and firearms, that we can do close quarter stuff and put the stuntmen and the
Used to be a blank, you would have material come out of the barrel. Now with the technologies, they can just have an explosion, but the round will eject, but nothing will come out of the barrel and the slide.
Much safer, yeah. So we can do tighter stuff and keep the frame the way we want to do it.
Crawl my human.